Net Promoter Score NPS analysis. In this lesson, we solve a real-world market research problem using customer survey data. Net Promoter Score NPS helps businesses understand customer loyalty and word-of-mouth potential. You will learn to calculate, segment, and analyze NPS results for actionable business insights. We start from raw survey data and will produce clear, easy-to-use NPS insights for decision-making. Let us explore why NPS matters and how to avoid common survey analysis mistakes. Running the cell now. We import pandas to work with data frames for analysis. We import NumPy for efficient numerical operations and to generate data if needed. We import the warnings module to control warning messages. We suppress warnings to keep our notebook output clean and focused. Running the cell now. Understanding NPS survey data. NPS surveys ask customers how likely they are to recommend a company on a 0 to 10 scale. Responses group into 0 to 6 are detractors, 7 to 8 are passives, and 9 to 10 are promoters. NPS is calculated as the percentage of promoters minus the percentage of detractors. Surveys also often include basic customer information such as age, region, or product used. Beginners often misinterpret scales, forget to segment NPS by customer groups, or skip checking for missing data. Running the cell now. Here we load a synthetic NPS survey dataset representing real survey responses. Setting the seed ensures reproducible random results, important in analytics. We build a data frame with 500 customers, each with an age, region, and NPS score. Customer ID uniquely identifies each customer. Age represents customers' ages. Region helps us later explore NPS by region. NPS_score shows the customer's 0 to 10 likelihood to recommend. We print the dataset size for a quick check. We preview the first 3 rows to validate structure. Running the cell now. This output shows the loaded synthetic NPS survey dataset with 500 rows and 4 columns, customer ID, age, region, and NPS_score. Notice the NPS_score ranges from 0 to 10 and is accompanied by key customer details like age and region, which are essential for later segmentation and analysis in understanding NPS trends. The shape and preview confirm the data has been correctly generated and structured for further processing. Why might it be useful to segment NPS results by region or age? Try printing a random sample of rows to see if the values seem realistic. Let us calculate the overall NPS for our sample company. We count the promoters, customers rating 9 or 10. We count the detractors, those rating 6 or lower. We find the total response count. We compute NPS as % promoters minus % detractors. We print the final NPS score. A positive score is good, negative means more detractors than promoters. Running the cell now. This output shows the overall NPS score of -47.6%, calculated by subtracting the percentage of detractors from promoters in the survey data. Notice the large negative value, which suggests many more unhappy customers, 0 to 6 scores, than promoters, 9 to 10 scores, signaling potential issues. This reinforces the lesson's emphasis on correctly grouping and interpreting NPS categories to understand customer sentiment accurately. Compare your NPS with industry benchmarks to learn if your score is high or low. We want to see how customers respond, so we plot the NPS score distribution. We use Matplotlib to make a histogram showing how many people chose each score. We label the axes for business clarity. Tight layout ensures our labels do not overlap. This visualization highlights whether your customers are mostly happy, passive, or dissatisfied. Running the cell now. This histogram shows the distribution of NPS scores from 0 to 10, highlighting how many respondents chose each rating. Notice the spread and any peaks around key groups, detractors 0 to 6, passives 7 to 8, and promoters 9 to 10, which helps us understand overall customer sentiment before calculating NPS. Visualizing the raw score counts ensures we don't overlook patterns or missing data in the survey responses. Try changing the color and titles to match your company's branding. For business reporting, it is useful to see how customers are split into detractors, passives, and promoters. We create a new column with string labels for each group. We count the number in each group and sort the order for clarity. This breakdown can reveal if a problem exists within your customer base. Running the cell now. This output shows the counts of customers in each NPS group after segmenting their scores into detractors, passives, and promoters. Notice that there are more detractors, 323, than promoters, 85, which will lower the overall NPS. This step helps beginners understand how to categorize raw scores before calculating meaningful insights like NPS. What other customer attributes might be good for further NPS breakdowns? Try changing the column or groupings. Managers often want to compare NPS across different business regions. We group data by region and apply the NPS formula within each group. This shows which region has the happiest customers and which may need more support. Running the cell now. This output shows the NPS score segmented by region, revealing all negative values, which means each region has more detractors than promoters. Notice the variation in scores. South and East have the lowest NPS, indicating regional differences in customer satisfaction that are important to consider when interpreting survey results. This segmentation helps avoid misleading conclusions from an overall NPS by highlighting where specific issues may lie. How would you present these regional findings to a manager? Try drawing a bar chart next. We want to know if loyalty, NPS, differs by age, a key insight for customer targeting. We group customers by age band. We calculate NPS for each age group so you can focus loyalty efforts where needed. Printing the results helps managers allocate resources to improve customer experience by segment. Running the cell now. This output shows the NPS value segmented by age groups, revealing a consistently negative NPS across all age ranges. Notice the 40 to 49 group has the lowest score, suggesting more detractors here, while that 60+ group is comparatively less negative. This highlights the importance of segmenting NPS by demographics to uncover differences in customer sentiment that an overall average might hide. Try adjusting the age bins to reflect your own business's core demographics. Crosstabulation helps compare different groups at a glance. Here, we check the proportion of NPS respondent types per region. Normalize by index converts raw counts to percentages within each region. Looking across rows, the business can spot which region has the most promoters or detractors. Running the cell now. This cross-tabulation shows the proportion of detractors, passives, and promoters within each region, highlighting customer sentiment differences by location. Notice that all regions have a majority of detractors, but the West has a noticeably higher share of promoters, 21%. This segmented view is key to understanding regional variations in NPS, which can guide targeted improvements. What else could you cross-tabulate in your market research data? Test by swapping columns. A bar chart is an effective way to communicate NPS differences to stakeholders. We plot each region's NPS, using green to signal a positive metric. The chart makes it quick to spot which region is succeeding or needs attention. Clear labeling helps business teams act on the insight. Running the cell now. The bar chart shows the NPS score segmented by each region, highlighting differences in customer sentiment across locations. Notice which regions have higher NPS, indicating more promoters relative to detractors, and which have lower scores, suggesting potential areas for improvement. This segmentation helps us understand regional variation in loyalty rather than looking at a single overall NPS score. Be sure to use clear colors and titles in reports to management. This advanced aggregation brings together counts and NPS for each region into a single table. We use the AG function to calculate promoters, detractors, and total responses per region. The resulting table is ideal for concise reporting and further drill down. Running the cell now. This output shows the calculated NPS for each region by first counting promoters and detractors, then deriving NPS as the percentage difference. Notice all regions have negative NPS values, indicating more detractors than promoters, which is critical when interpreting customer sentiment by region. This aggregation highlights the importance of segmenting NPS scores to uncover geographic trends rather than relying on an overall average. Can you add other columns, like average age or number of passives, to enhance the summary? Survey data is often messy, so we should check for missing responses. We count how many NPS_score values are missing. This simple check prevents calculation errors and supports confident decisions. Running the cell now. This output shows there are 0 missing NPS scores in the dataset, meaning every respondent provided a valid rating. Checking for missing data is crucial before calculating NPS to ensure accurate segmentation and analysis without bias from incomplete responses. If there were missing values, practice filtering them out using Dropner. We filter out missing NPS responses to ensure data integrity in future analyses. Dropner is the standard pandas method for this operation. We print the new dataset size for confirmation. Running the cell now. The output confirms that there were no missing NPS scores in the original dataset, as the filtered data still contains all 500 responses. This step is important because including missing values can distort the calculation of NPS and subsequent analysis of customer segments. Here, verifying no data was lost ensures the integrity of the survey results before grouping or scoring. Consider exploring how removing missing values changes your key metrics. For presentations, it is best practice to include a confidence interval around your NPS. We use the proportion_confint function to estimate uncertainty for both promoters and detractors. The resulting interval quantifies the precision of your NPS estimate for stronger business decisions. Running the cell now. The output shows a wide negative NPS confidence interval from about -55 to -40, indicating a low and statistically significant number of promoters relative to detractors. This reflects the code's intent to not only calculate NPS but also quantify the uncertainty, helping beginners understand that NPS scores are estimates with variability rather than exact values. Noticing the interval's bounds emphasizes the importance of confidence intervals when interpreting survey results. For high-stakes projects, always pair key metrics with their margin of error. Tracking NPS over time is crucial for identifying improvements or declines in customer sentiment. We add a random survey month to simulate periodic survey waves. We group responses by survey period and calculate NPS for each month. The trend chart shows whether changes in service or management influenced customer loyalty. Running the cell now. The plot shows the NPS trend over 6 months, highlighting how the difference between promoters and detractors changes over time. Notice the monthly fluctuations in the NPS score, which help identify periods of stronger or weaker customer sentiment. This visualization emphasizes the importance of tracking NPS longitudinally to detect trends rather than relying on a single snapshot. Try applying this technique to your own periodic survey data. Connecting NPS with text feedback links scores to real customer sentiment. We create a sample feedback_df with open-ended comments. We merge the NPS responses with feedback using customer ID. The merge table helps identify what promoters or detractors are saying, enabling deeper insight. Running the cell now. This output shows how NPS survey data is enriched by merging numeric scores and group labels with open-ended customer feedback. Notice that feedback is only available for the first 5 customers, highlighting the need to handle missing qualitative data for others. This combined view helps us better understand not just how customers rate the company, but also the reasons behind those ratings. Ask your team, what themes appear in detractor comments? Try filtering merged where group equals detractor. Sometimes surveys collect invalid scores by mistake. We check for responses outside the 0 to 10 range. This step prevents hidden problems in analytics and reporting. Running the cell now. This output shows there are 0 invalid NPS scores outside the 0 to 10 range, confirming the data's validity for scoring. This check is crucial to ensure the NPS calculations and customer segmentations are based on clean, reliable input, preventing errors in later analysis steps. Always screen survey data for possible user errors or system bugs. Grouping by region requires each row to have a region value. We check for missing regions and fill them with the unknown if found. This preserves group calculations and prevents program crashes. Running the cell now. Try this technique for any grouping field that may be incomplete in your data. Errors can result if integer division is used accidentally. We compare integer and float division for sample values. Always use float division to avoid wrong NPS results, especially for small samples. Running the cell now. This output highlights a common pitfall in calculating NPS. Integer division truncates decimal values, leading to an incorrect score of 0 instead of the expected 20.0. Notice how using float division correctly captures the proportional values of promoters and detractors, which is critical for accurate NPS calculation and comparison across customer groups. This reinforces the lesson's emphasis on carefully handling numeric operations to avoid misleading results. If calculation results are always 0 or very small, check your division rules. Best practices: NPS segmentation, cross-tabulation, and scoring patterns. Always segment NPS by customer demographics or business area for actionable detail. Use cross-tabulation to spot patterns, such as which product or region drives high NPS. Index construction like NPS turns survey ratings into a business metric. Analyze trends over time to validate business improvements or flag emerging risks. Document every calculation for transparency in market research reporting. Running the cell now. Let us walk through a tiny end-to-end NPS analysis for business decision-making. Step 1. We remove rows with invalid NPS scores. Step 2. Calculate the company-wide NPS metric. Step 3. Segment by region to reveal performance variation. We identify the best and worst NPS region for action. Finally, deliver a clear, actionable recommendation based on the data. This full cycle prepares you for real-world client or manager requests. Running the cell now. This output shows a strongly negative overall NPS of -47.6, indicating more detractors than promoters across the company. Segmenting by region reveals that the South has the lowest NPS, -54.5, and the North the highest, -40.9, though all regions are in negative territory. This segmentation highlights where to prioritize retention efforts, perfectly illustrating how cross-tabulation and scoring guide targeted, actionable business recommendations. Congratulations! Try applying this template to your own customer satisfaction research. Want more lessons? Search Practical NPS Python tutorial on YouTube for hands-on walkthroughs.